Not know, but I've been making this story on my tablet for the past month, and I wanted to share it with you guys so you guys can hear it and get entertained by it. So here, Burnouts, engines burning, prologue. Here I am typing in this tablet. My name is Darren. Wow, never thought I'd get one of these things, to be honest. So, let's get this all together. So I'm a racer. Not a racer, a drag racer. When I was younger, I would play with Hot Wheels, and I would get so obsessed with it that I wanted to race. I won around 5 trophies so far, and today I'm starting to practice so I can get my hands on a 6th one. Chapter 1, Darren. Whoa! Yeah! I screamed, going around 110 miles per hour. Get out of the way, said my friend James. I didn't tell you about him yet? Oh, silly me. James has been my friend since middle school. I actually made him like racing. Don't let him know, but I made him like it by watching Cars. Yeah, the kids' movie. Don't get me wrong, I'm not humiliating him. I'm just... Never mind. You're a really fast driver, I said sarcastically. Shut up. I bet I could beat you in the first race. I bet I could beat you first in the race. They responded, well, it looks like you really are going to win, I said, even more sarcastic. After what I just said, he really just sighed. Chapter 2, James. Hi, I'm James. Darren and I decided we could send in our notes and switch POVs every now and then. Whoa, I almost hit Darren. Fortunately, he dodged it by swerving left. I drive a Dodge Viper. Darren uses a GT500. Racing is actually fun, but our car's expensive. Expensive. Darren kept up at the speed around 110 while I was behind him, trying to get a good grip of 100. I saw a cone and dodged it, and there was the turn. We raced in a desert with nobody around. Just us. Sometimes we go there at night just to get some experience. There it was, the turn. Darren made a burnout. I twisted my wheel. My teeth were gritted. I hope I didn't die. But the chances of that happening is more than 1,000, I guess. I think I ran around the track 10 or more laps. If you were our engines, you would probably feel like you were in an oven at 200 degrees. I'm not even lying. Then we heard a third car come out of nowhere. Chapter 3, Carl. I can't even believe they forgot to put me in the tablet. I'm Carl. I'm James's and Darren's friend. I use a lime green Chevrolet Camaro, the 2015 version. I know. I haven't got to use the new 2022 one because the price of the Camaro got higher. So I decided to use my old one. I don't really remember the speed limit to these Camaros, so I'm guessing there's a 50-50 chance I would win. My back wheel started revving. I don't know if you're supposed to call them slicks when you're a drag racer. I'm kind of new to the thing. Well, you could say that at least. I started in 2019, but I quit and started again at 2 years later. Oh, wow. I found out they were called slicks. Don't tell anyone, but I found it from a 4th grade book. Wait, why did I put it in the note? Wait. No, don't say, no, wait. Chapter 4, Darren. Wow, imagine having to research on something on a 4th grade level book. That would be so embarrassing for me. Screech! Burnout! I shouted out my window. Dang it! Said Carl. You know I only started 2 years ago, right? Carl asked. Yeah, why wouldn't we let you in here in the first place? I replied. That's not my point. I mean that you guys have to go easy on me since I'm only 2 years in. Carl then said. Okay, sure, James said after we raced again. This time I was at 90 miles per hour. James probably gripped at 95 miles. Now you should be saying or thinking, wait, that's a little unfair. Well, It is. But listen to this. Carl went at 100 miles per hour. 100. HUNDRED. 100. I couldn't believe it though. But guess this. He was slowing down once we were getting to the finish line. And I think I might have went a bit too fast at that time. Chapter 5. Carl. He zoomed past me like Sonic the Hedgehog. He literally broke the branch we got off that tree for the finish line. He jumped out of his car and did the orange justice in front of a Dodge Viper and a 2015 Camaro. Whoa! I don't really remember how many Fortnite dances he did, but it was obviously more than 18. Me and Darren looked at our faces, helmets, and then looked back at Darren. It had been probably a minute he had done that though, which was relieving. Okay. I know what you're thinking, but come on, it sounds like a fair race, right? I just sighed. Chapter 6. James. I wear a black helmet with a bright red outline across my drag racing outfit, just to match my car design. Carl wears a bright lime green helmet with yellow and black outlines to match his outfit. And Darren uses a dark blue helmet with black outlines. But why am I even talking about this? Well, it's because I'm literally speechless of Darren doing the orange justice. Chapter 7. Carl. So apparently Darren was doing the orange justice and I was sick of it. I said, "What are you doing?" Darren replied with, I can already tell that his face was turning red. Even though he wears a lapis lazuli blue helmet, I could hear James's giggles. I'm gonna go home," Darren said in what seemed like 1 millisecond. He got into his G500 and zoomed from 0 miles per hour to 70 in probably like 2.6 seconds. I called his phone and he left a text saying, "Don't call me." James was looking at my phone and his giggle turned into a laugh. Surprisingly, I was laughing too. Me and James left the training area. Chapter 8. Darren. I was so red I probably looked like Spider-Man in the helmet. I got home and scrolled on my phone watching TikTok. I'm 26 years old, so I don't live with my mom or dad anymore. I never lived for a long time as my mom or dad. When I was born, my dad became a military soldier and left me behind when I was only about a month old. When I learned how to talk, I asked my mom what happened to him. She said he was getting some milk and he came back, but I was too young to remember. What she said was a lie. It actually took me 3 months to know it was a lie. She finally admitted the truth. He died in a battle. I was surprised and sad at the same time. She thought I would get mad at her for not saying it before, so she signed me up for adoption. Crazy, right? And that was the last time I saw her. I walked over to my pantry and looked at the calendar. Only 3 weeks until the tournament starts. I walked over to my bed, turned off the lights, and fell asleep. Chapter 9. James. I woke up and yawned in my car's pajamas. I checked the time and it was 6 o'clock. It's winter over here, so right now it would look like it's still nighttime. I went to the kitchen and drank some coffee to refresh myself. Then I looked on my phone and found Darren texting me 59 times. I checked the text and it was literally him spamming "come to the training area" 59 times. I opened my super secure garage and went inside with my Dodge Viper. I sped down the road looking at the early Christmas lights around so many trees. Chapter 10. Carl. Ah! I was wide awake when my alarm clock blazed loud noise. I turned it off and realized it was 6:30. I looked on my phone and saw Darren texting me "come to the training area now" 59 times. I checked James's text and found "go to the training area now" 37 times. I jumped into my car and zoomed past all the Christmas lights. It looked like an amusement park with all bright lights speeding through my windshield. I went on the highway and got there in 40 minutes. to get some gas. Gee, this price is expensive, I said, looking at the $80 price. Then I zoomed past the highway again to see something amazing. Chapter 11. There. This is crazy, I said, looking at the training area. It seemed like when we were gone for a week, builders came in and made an actual racetrack. I bet I'll beat you back here in 30 seconds, I shouted to James and Carl. The engine revved and we all ran across the new racetrack. Chapter 12. Carl. As we were zooming around the track, a white Lamborghini arrived. I don't know how they found us, but they just did. I saw my car and got out. I walked to the strange white car and knocked on the driver's window, and then the window rolled down and I saw a man with thin black glasses and had a tuxedo on. I asked him what was going on, and he wanted to talk to Darren. Darren and James were still racing, and I kept yelling his name, but he didn't answer. So I called his phone and he picked up. "How are you calling me while driving?" he shouted. "These guys want to talk to you." "In the white Lambo car," I told him. "Okay, I'm coming," he said in a more calm voice. He stopped beside my car and saw the man. On the other side, a woman came out in yellowish heels and made that clack sound whenever she stepped on the dry cement. Chapter 13. Darren. "Hi," Darren said. "Good morning, Darren," she replied. I was shocked. I didn't know her name. I didn't know who that was. Then I realized it was morning. It just felt like afternoon because of how early we were getting here. It was 8 o'clock. I just wanted to ask if you wanted to join the tournament 2 weeks after today. I said yes, and she called someone on her radio. A red Ford Mustang drove in 2 minutes later. She told me if I could beat some levels, she would either let me in or out. The others had to go with it too. First was the red rookie. He only started 3 months ago. We revved our engines, and we took off. He reached a grip of 90. I pretended to be slow and drove at 85. Then at the middle of the race, I sped up at 100 and beat him. Next was the Adios Amigos amateur. Yeah, that's his code name. Not lying. He sped up at 100 and we were at the same speed. I used the nitrogen to boost me up. I knew it was only 1 foot away from his bumper. I turned to the left and made him get behind me. I won the race, fortunately. The third one was the Powered Pro. That was actually a challenge. We started and took off just to see him speeding already. I used nitrogen 3 times to get to him. I sped as fast as I could and made it. That was my record, 112. 112 was the record. He was left speechless. And the last one was almighty. He's the fastest racer in the world. I was stressing a lot. By the second he put up the green flag, he was already close to the middle. I was surprised and used all my nitrogen. I turned and fled off. That's when the bad thing happened. He passed through me and sped away. I was devastated and depressed. Chapter 14. James. I was next. Red rookie versus me. I drove off at 90 miles per hour and sped up to 100. I made a burnout and twisted at the other curb. Red rookie was behind me trying to get at 95. I zoomed through the finish line and put some more gasoline so I could race the Adios Amigos amateur. I sped at 100, a good start until he caught up with me. I was surprised. Finally, someone who could come up with me. I used the nitro to make a little boost up. I flew across the curb. I didn't even feel my back wheels on the ground a bit. I felt my wheels drop to the ground and I started speeding past the guy. I won. Barbara was next. I drove as fast as I could, 103 miles per hour specifically. I kept gripping the wheel. I won. Almighty was next. I sped 103 again, but he shifted in front of me. I zoomed in a little closer and made it to the same speed with him. I saw Darren surprised in my windshield far away. I had to speed up. I kept using my nitro. That's when the bad thing happened. My gas was only left out at 9%. I saw it go down to 1. Then the car stopped. It stopped its entire engine. I flew out of my seatbelt. It broke off. I curled into a ball and bashed through the windshield. My body fell off the hood of the car and dropped onto the ground. The last thing I heard was footsteps, sirens, and yelling. Then I blacked out. Chapter 15, Carl. Hey, James, wake up. I saw blood flowing out of his nostrils. Blood everywhere. It spilled onto the ground. I saw Darren running up to me. Hey, James. No response. Darren called 911 as soon as James bashed through the windshield. He had the number already on his phone just in case. The paramedics came rushing right in front of him and putting him on the bed thing with wheels. I didn't know what it was. Don't blame me. The woman wasn't surprised. It's like she already knew it was going to happen. She asked me, "Are you up for the challenge now, Carl?" She sounded like a psycho, but I had to go. Red Rookie? Easy. Adios Amigos Amateur? Easy. Powered Pro? Really hard. Now Almighty? Super hard. I started at 100 just like James, but he sped all the way into the middle in only 17 seconds. I zoomed as far as I could. Yes, I put gasoline so I wouldn't end up like James. I knew I couldn't make it, but I remembered I had 7 nitros. I sped a little as I used my first one, then second and third. I had 5 left. At this point, I could actually see the bumper of Almighty. I used another nitro and now left at 4. I could see through his window. Then I saw something impossible. He looked at me and held up a pistol at his window. He rolled down the window and shot. Gah! I said. It flew right next to me, shooting to the window beside me. Oh my gosh, I said. He shot again. Oh, you're crazy. He made a small smile. Then he shot again. I dodged 3 bullets from an actual pistol. My gloves were full of sweat. I used another nitro. Actually 2. I was farther away from him now. I was looking back at him. Then I looked onto the road. Whoa. The curb was right in front of me. I knew how to make a burnout. I made it. My first burnout since 2019. I kept speeding up. Closer and closer. Darren was surprised. I looked in the mirror and saw the pistol pointing straight at the mirror. A bullet came out and shattered the mirror. I gasped. I was lucky I was wearing a helmet. I drove off. That's when the good thing happened. I made the finish line. I screeched at an entire complete stop and ran off. Almighty started to chase me while he was holding the gun. The guy with shady glasses pulled out 2 pistols. Yeah, 2. Almighty surrendered. Darren was confused. I'm sorry, the Almighty said. The shady guy said, "Shut up." Darren already called 911. I knew he would do that. Obviously, after what happened to James. Wait, what? No, please, have mercy. I was on the ground after I tripped over a rock while running. The cops were already there. Hands up, one officer said. Almighty was breathing heavily. You will pray for this. You will pray. An officer put his hand over Almighty's mouth. Muffling noises was heard from him. He was sent to jail for 15 years. Chapter 16, Darren. I ran to Carl. Hey, he said. I was surprised he was still talking. I thought he got shot. Hey, do you think we should see James? I asked. Sure, he replied, still breathing heavily. We drove to the local hospital and went inside. We checked in our names, and the hospital lady told us it was in room 8C. We went on the elevator, and the song was never going to give you up. We reached floor A, and we walked over to room C. You ready? I asked Carl. Obviously, why wouldn't I? He replied. He opened the door, and we were horrified by what we saw. James was in bed, his face wrapped up in bandages, except his eyes, nose, and mouth. His eyes were closed. Bloodstains were on the bandages, leaking, and leaking. What, James? I quietly whispered. We heard a small groan. Oh, Darren? Yeah. Yeah, it's me. I stuttered. Hi. Give me some rest for a second, okay? Sure, Carl said after. Me and Carl walked into the bathroom. Is he okay? Carl asked. Does it look like it? I asked him. Good point. What should we do? Let's just talk normally with a normal topic. Not too bad anyway. Did you see the blood coming out of his face? He asked. Touche, I asked. Okay, that is the end of the book. I mean the story. So, yeah, it was a long story. Took me a month to finish. 16 chapters. The next book is coming out in probably a few months, or probably 8 months. But yeah. Yeah, I'll see you in the next video.